Welcome everyone to the 2019-2020 Sports Awards ceremony. I'm so sorry we can't see you live in KDH, so we are filming in Mr. Jeffrey's classroom in beautiful Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. First, I'd like to give a couple thank yous. First to the parents for your support and for recognizing the importance as sports as part of the curriculum at St. Aloysius. I can't thank you enough for all you've done to make this year a great success. To the coaches, once again, I don't know how you guys get here every day at 3, and you ladies that help coach this year, for your dedication, for your effort, and for the positive impact on the students' lives. You are all truly inspirational people. To Sister Margaret, obviously, for her support, her spirit, her enthusiasm and for her love of the games. To the teachers, for your support at games, most importantly for you proctoring the study halls so the boys during the football and basketball seasons could get some work done before they headed out to the athletic fields or to the gym. And for all your various help throughout the year for all that I do here at St. Aloysius. To the students, most importantly, for your hard work, for your sportsmanship, for your love of the game. You guys truly had a great year, and we're all so proud of everything you've done. At this time every year, I like to give out some plaques of the 8th grade. And this year we've decided that we're going to give those 8th graders these plaques for every boy that participated in the sport. We're going to give them out on graduation. But I still wanted to recognize all you 8th graders for everything you've done for the school this year. I can't tell you how sad we all were that spring sports didn't happen, and I know you guys, most importantly, missed out on one of the most fun times of the year. The spring, we could be outside playing, and unfortunately it was all cut short due to this pandemic. You guys all led the athletic teams through the fall and through the winter with such awesome integrity, commitment, and the coaches, the teachers, and your parents were all so proud. First, because of the young men you've become, and secondly, for what a great year you guys had on the athletic fields. You will truly be missed, and I look forward to seeing you guys play in the high schools that you attend. All right, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our individual sports. Every year we like to give out a few awards to those boys who we thought deserve some merit for the great years that they had. Please, nobody should be disappointed that you don't get an award. Everyone that played a sport, you all deserve to get an award for the great year that you had. But sometimes we just want to recognize a few guys just to make them feel good about themselves, to help with their self-esteem, and to let them know that we really appreciate everything they did this year to make the athletic programs at St. Aloysius a success. So we're going to begin with cross country, and Mrs. Calamia, who is our cross country coach. This year we wanted to talk about a few boys that had exemplary seasons for the coach. First, we have a Most Improved Award, and this award is going to go out to Matthew LaMontagne. Through his hard work and dedication to practice, he managed to improve his time and position by 30% among 11 to 12-year-olds at all the meets held at the Belmont Plateau on Sundays. Matthew is very humble with a big heart, and Coach wanted to let you know that you're a joy to coach, and she can't wait for you to return in the fall. Our MVP is Vinny Calamia. Vinny medaled and placed 15th for cross-country championships and medaled and placed 8th for the regional meet. This placed him on the A team for nationals. Nationals this year was held in Shelbyville, Indiana, and running in horrible conditions in a freezing rain among 271 11 and 12-year-olds. Vinny medaled and placed 21st out of 118 11-year-old boys. He placed 7th for Philadelphia, which helped his team win the bronze medal. So once again, our MVP is Vinny Calamia. All right, next we want to move on to our tennis team. We had a few guys play tennis this fall under the guidance of Mr. Fazil Saeed, and he wanted to recognize one person who was going to receive a coach's award, And the Coaches Award winner for the 2019 tennis team is David Lopez. All right, now we're going to move on to football. And we had a JV and varsity football team. Both teams had great years. Both teams advanced to the Parade of Champions, which is an unbelievable thing to do considering we have all these sports in the fall. And obviously we only have a few select boys from St. Aloysius only participating on our teams. And we were so proud of the football team and the accomplishments they had this year. We want to single out a few football players. Coach Frank and his esteemed staff wanted a couple of boys to receive some recognition for the great years they had. First, for the JV football team, we have a Coaches Award winner, and that person is Cole Treston. The 2019 all-around player for the JV football team is Richard Treston. And the MVP for the Parade of Champions team this year for the 2019 football team is Samaj Hill. All right, next we want to move on to our varsity football team, once again coached by Coach Frank. He's looking forward to the season next year. Coach Frank had a Zoom meeting with all his potential players last week, and the numbers look great, and we really look forward to the season next year. We have a couple of award winners also for the varsity football team. First, the 2019 Coaches Award winner, Teddy Fenlon. The 2019 All-Around Player Award goes to Luke Pagan. The 2019 MVP of the varsity football team is Kasim Phillips. We also give out a fourth award for football every year, and this is the Spirit Award, named after Mark Cordes and Leo Carlin. Mark had two boys graduate from St. Aloysius, Matthew and Gabriel, and he started an award in Leo Carlin's honor, who was a player here at St. Aloysius who was diagnosed with Hodgkin's while he was a sixth grader. Mark was so inspired how Leo dealt with his cancer that he thought a Spirit Award be named in Leo's honor. Sadly and ironically, 3 years ago, Mr. Cordes passed away from cancer, but we want this award to live on. And it is now called the Cordes Carlin Spirit Award. It is presented to the person who possesses the inner qualities that display the true spirit of the St. Aloysius student. The recipient demonstrates exceptional fortitude, determination and perseverance in their daily life, always mindful of the need of God's spiritual guidance, striving to achieve academic excellence by his daily actions earns the respect of his peers, teachers, and administration in and outside the classroom. The winner of the Cordes Carlin Spirit Award this year goes to J.P. Murray. All right, now we're going to move on to some soccer awards. Mr. Paolucci and Mr. Jeffries are in here helping me a little bit with this presentation today. Mr. Paolucci is our JV soccer coach, and he's assisted by Mr. Wisely. And he has a few award winners for these guys this year. Unfortunately, they were a little short on numbers, our JV soccer team. Started with 12, eventually got to 14, and it became difficult to compete with such little numbers. But by the end of the year, the boys really got it going. And Mr. Paolucci and Mr. Wisely were so proud of the season these boys had. They want to recognize a few guys for some individual achievement. First, the Coaches Award goes to Tommy Escher. The 2019 Defensive MVP for the Wildcat Soccer JV team was Dylan DiMartino. And this year we have co-offensive MVPs, Michael Paolucci and Colin Hartz. Congratulations to all those boys. And now we're going to move on to our varsity soccer team. Another team that had a great year. We came back with a lot of expectations. We had an outstanding season. We ran into a St. Peter and Paul team that went undefeated for the entire season in our region, finishing 13-0, which if anybody knows anything about soccer, to go undefeated and not lose or tie a game is truly an outstanding feat. We gave them a great run in the playoffs. We got better and better as the season went on, and we played that Peter and Paul team in the region championship to one of the best soccer games I've ever been involved in. We clearly played better that day, but soccer, of all sports, has a hard time recognizing the better team sometimes. And on that day, Peter and Paul scored a great goal, and unfortunately we were unable to put the ball in the back of the net, and Peter and Paul finished with a 13-0 record, but we were still able to advance to the Archdiocese and played on a freezing cold day, one of the coldest games I've ever been a part of, and unfortunately lost to a really good team in the first round of the Archdiocese. I look forward to the team next year, but I'm really going to miss these 8th graders, and I'm going to recognize a couple right now. First, the 2019 Coaches Award winner is Quinn Mullen. The 2019 all-around player for the Wildcats is Conrad Rogowski. Our 2019 offensive MVP is Rhett Bauer. And the 2019 MVP of this great soccer team, Captain Dylan Under. All right, we have completed the fall sports portion of this award ceremony, and now we're going to move on to our basketball teams. First, we were lucky enough this year to have 4 varsity basketball teams, an A team, and 3 varsity B teams. And for the JV, we had 2 B teams and a JV A team. Truly a remarkable accomplishment, again, to have this many boys who wanted to participate at St. Aloysius, and this year was like no other. The boys had a blast, and a lot of kids got better at basketball and got to make good friends with a lot of their classmates. We want to recognize first and thank Coach Levine and his team, the JV1 team, the Coaches Award winner for the 2019-2020 JV1 team is Fadil Lamidi. Coach Levine has 2 most valuable players, and those award winners are Nate Levine and David Vickers. Now our JV team, coached by Mr. Charlie Howler, those boys also had a blast and really learned a lot about basketball and got better every game and practice. Coach has 2 awards. First, his Coaches Award winner goes to Sean Fitzpatrick. And the 2019-2020 most valuable player of the JV2 team is AJ Marzocco. Our JV8 team also had a great year, and we want to recognize a few boys for their accomplishment, coached by an alum, Griffin Kennedy, and our 2 head coaches, Mrs. Marnie McErlane and Mr. Matt Brennan. They do such a wonderful job, and we're real proud of the success the boys had this year. Their highlight of the year was a huge win at St. Norbert's on a Friday night, probably their best game of the year. They made a nice run and unfortunately lost to a really formidable opponent in the first round of the region playoffs. Coach wants to recognize a few players from this team. First, the Coaches Award winner for the A team this year goes to Joseph Backey. The all-around player for the JV A team award winner is Samaj Hill. And the most valuable player of the JV basketball A team this year award winner is Colin Hartz. All right, the varsity B teams, like I said, they had 3 B teams that competed this year. A varsity 1 team was composed of an 8th grade team, which was a luxury we were able to afford because we only had 10 boys who didn't make the A team that wanted to play B basketball, so we were lucky and fortunate enough to put them all on one team. And I know the boys had a blast under the guidance of Mr. Palmazzani, and they had a real successful season, advanced to the playoffs, and won a game, and then unfortunately took one on the collar to conclude their season. But the boys really had a great year. The Coach's Award winner for Coach Palmazzani is Sam Seneca. And the most valuable player for the Varsity 1 team is Luke Pagan. The Varsity 2 team advanced to their B team playoffs as well, and they made such a run in the playoffs that they were able to win the B team championship. They also want to award 2 guys that stood out under Coach Panicelli, also an alum from St. Aloysius who gave back his time as a senior at St. Joe's University to coach these boys this year. The Coach's Award winner is Bryce Knowlton, and the most valuable player of the Varsity 2 team this year goes to Allende McClendon. The Varsity 3 basketball team also had a great year. They were coached by John Scott, who also helps coach football and is a young 21-year-old in college giving back his time to St. Aloysius. And Mr. Frank, who doesn't enough for football, I decided to see if he could also help with varsity basketball. And he, as always, stepped up and did a great job with the boys. There's a couple award winners for this team. The Coach's Award winner is Patrick Ballou. And the most valuable player of this team, that award winner is Trot Cush. All right, the Varsity A team also had a great year. Ran into, again, some really great teams in the region and were unable to achieve a lot of team success this year. We had, kids got better. We had a lot of individual success. Unfortunately, we were unable, under my guidance and Coach Mackerlane and Coach Brennan, to turn these boys around into a juggernaut. But the boys had a great year. They had a lot of fun. They really enjoyed each other, and it was an absolute pleasure to coach them. The Coach's Award winner for this year is Jack Mullen. Our MVP defensively, who everyone that practiced with us at St. Aloysius would attest that he definitely deserves this award. The defensive MVP is Rhett Bauer. And the most valuable player of the 2019-2020 Varsity A team winner is Cassine Phillips. All right, unfortunately, as we've talked about briefly, we weren't able to have spring sports this year. I've been coaching baseball now for 30 years, 27 years here at St. Aloysius and 3 years at the high school I attended. And it is the first time that I have not coached baseball in the spring for 30 years. It was really hard for me not to be able to do that, but obviously I understand that you 14-year-olds and you 13-year-olds and all you JV and 4th graders that were going to run track this year, it was really hard for you not to compete this year. We are all hoping that next year we will be able to have all our sports and life will be close to back to normal as it was during our basketball season. We want to honor a couple individuals in the 8th grade to conclude this ceremony who we thought merit recognition for the awesome years they had. Obviously, they were unable to participate on spring sports, which would have added to their legacy, but we're going to reward some guys that had great years on either the football or the soccer fields or in the gymnasium on the basketball court. First, we'd like to honor a Sportsman Award. And this award goes to a person who exhibits sportsmanship throughout the school year. He exemplifies sportsmanship in all he does. He played soccer with such commitment and effort. He was a tremendous goalie who learned to work hard at his craft with an unwavering enthusiasm. He was the ultimate teammate on the soccer field, including last year me putting him at a different position rather than goalie, and he just stepped up and said, "I'll do whatever you need, coach." On the basketball team, ultimate teammate, supporting his team, practicing hard, never complaining. He started every game, both soccer and basketball, and he always represented St. Aloysius in a positive light. Then baseball came, and unfortunately, he was unable to participate. He got hurt actually right before this pandemic hit, but he was going to come back and really have a great year for baseball as well. He's a true leader, and he plays each sport in which he participates to the best of his ability. He always remembers to play like a sportsman. He never has a negative thing to say about the other team or his teammates. A true sportsman in every sense of the word. He's always picking up his teammates. He always plays hard. He never loses sight of sportsmanship in all aspects. He's headed to LaSalle High School next year, and the Paws Sportsmanship Award winner is Will Keffer. We also want to recognize an all-around athlete, and this goes to a person who exemplifies what it means to work hard. This young man has a lot of talent, but what makes him special is his commitment and effort. It also helps that he has the most God-given talent on the field. He played football with reckless abandon and hit anything that came near him. He also scored touchdowns that will be remembered for years to come. He was definitely the most consistent hard worker on the basketball team and did all the little things: rebounding, defending, loose balls, etc. He was the unquestioned leader of the basketball team, and he was an awesome teammate and competitor. The boys were lucky to have him on the football teams and basketball teams this year. He's headed to St. Joe's Prep next year, where I know he will dominate in all aspects of being a man for others. The all-around athlete award winner is Cassine Phillips. Lastly, we'd like to recognize a scholar athlete, and this person goes to someone who excelled in the classroom and on the athletic fields. He played soccer and basketball and had awesome years for both teams. Truly one of the best defensive players I've ever coached. He always plays hard. He's a true leader on the court and on the soccer fields. I would have to say he's one of the best leaders I have ever had the pleasure of teaching or coaching. He was the best soccer player, but also our hardest worker, an ultimate sign of a true great leader. He also led the soccer team with positive ways where he tried to motivate his teammates. The boys on the soccer team and the basketball team were fortunate to be surrounded by such an awesome young man. His consistent effort enables him to play sports successfully and achieve academically. He currently boasts a 97 grade point average. Truly remarkable that you're able to participate in all those sports and achieve academically at such a high level. His talents are headed off to Episcopal Academy next year, and our Scholar Athlete Award winner is Dylan Unruh. All right, lastly, I'd just like to thank Mr. Paolucci and Mr. Jeffries for helping me with this videotape, and obviously to Sister Margaret for her unquestioned leadership. Boys and parents, if anybody is eager for the school year to get started on time next year, your number one fan is definitely Sister Margaret. We'll see you guys all near the end of the summer. Thanks for all you do, and hopefully you guys all have a great summer and start working on some of your skills to get ready for the next school year. Thank you again.